Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Smack dab middle of the week, hump day. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here, for being Up+Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. Life has a funny way of making sense. Eventually, sometimes the very moments that feel like they're breaking you become the stories you can't wait to tell years later. If you've ever wondered whether the hardest chapter of your life might one day make sense, this conversation might be for you. Today, joined by actor, rapper, comedian, podcast host MC Jin. We talk about chasing big dreams, what happens when those dreams don't always go according to plan. His story is really interesting. The people who carry us through, the role your faith can play. We'll also talk about his new podcast, Laugh But Not Least. Isn't that a great name? That's super clever. Where life's hardest moments become the stories that we laugh about later. This conversation's coming up right here on Up+Adam. In fact, we're going to get right into it. I do want to tell you about my friends at Benny's Pizza, holding it down with that Detroit-style goodness. So good. That thick Detroit-style, crispy pan-fried, awesome majesty. Sauce on top or bottom, it doesn't matter. It tastes good anywhere. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30, $3.50 domestic cans, $2 off premium. Check them out. They're on Upper Monterey, 1601 Monterey Street. Slow down, Adam. In San Luis Obispo. Call them up, order up, 439-3838. We love Benny's and we thank them for being Up+Adam.
It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
If you ever found yourself looking back at a chapter of life that once felt impossible, only to realize it taught you something you never could have learned any other way, you're going to love this conversation. My next guest has built a career as a rapper, an actor, a comedian, now a podcast host. But what stuck with me was his honesty about reinvention, resilience, learning to find laughter on the other side of some of life's hardest moments. His new podcast is called Laugh But Not Least. What a great name. Welcome, MC Jin. Man, thank you so much for being Up+Adam.
Adam, thank you for having me, man. Thank you. Just grateful for any opportunity to meet a new friend. And yeah, anybody that's, pouring into this little podcast thing that I'm doing, I'm grateful, man. So it's great to formally step into this space. And it's been such a rewarding experience and learning both about the world of it and learning about myself too. So it's cool.
Hip hop always fascinated me because it seems to become home for people who feel like outsiders, different neighborhoods, different backgrounds, different cultures. Somehow they all find each other there. Whoa. What was it about hip hop that felt familiar to you, Jin, before you ever belonged to it?
Ooh, that's a good one. A pivotal moment for me, I think, was the process of discovering it on the radio, right? So I think, yes, as a 12, 13-year-old, and just to paint the picture, this is in Miami. So I was born and raised in Miami. I think I was standard in the sense that I'm watching MTV, listening to my local radio station the way all the other kids are. You're right. All the other kids were doing in 1995 or 1994. All right. We don't have social media. We don't have tablets. We don't have smartphones. We're literally either outside running around on our bikes or whatever, or if we are soaking up media of any sort, it's through MTV or the radio station. So I would like to think, man, I had a pretty diverse musical taste. So if we're talking early, mid 90s, I loved all of it. I love MJ. I love Guns N' Roses. I love the whole spectrum. But to your question, Adam, there was something about hip hop that it just reached into me and said, you belong to me. And I remember even some of the specific songs, right? Songs like Naughty by Nature, right? Hip hop hooray, ho. And obviously, a 14-year-old might not know what OPP actually stands for. But hey, I could rap the whole thing. Who's down with OPP? Hey, I'm down with OPP. Obviously, as I got older and I'm like 18, I'm like, oh, that's OPP. Okay, I'm still down with it, right? And then like LL Cool J. I was like Criss Cross, right? Being a kid and watching Criss Cross, also kids. Like, so I think it just unlocked my imagination, watching the music videos. And then I think, yeah, it's cool to answer your question because it's actually helping me have clarity. I think the thing about hip hop that set it apart from the rest of all the other genres, it was almost like discovering the Marvel universe. I'll describe it like that. Because other than these characters, right, I'm also learning about hip hop culture. I'm learning about the 4 elements. I'm learning, wait, why does the MC rap? Why is the B-boy the one that's doing the head spin? Wait, why did that DJ what made that DJ cut back and forth between 2 records? So all of this is like learning about the Marvel universe, right? You're learning like, okay, once upon a time, before the Avengers, there was a school called the Academy for the Gifted. I don't know if that's the name of where the X-Men trained. But the point is, there was a Professor X. And Professor X is like Kool Herc, right? And then under Kool Herc. So point being, like, it was just this whole universe that transcended just the music of it. And it was no looking back, man. And hip-hop has undoubtedly changed my life. And I think most of the global community that hip hop has affected. We can't even put a number on it, to be honest. Look at hip hop has permeated into everything now. Yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And then you talk about Criss Cross, and then got me thinking fashion. Like
bingo.
Fashion transformed. Bingo. I mean, Jinko jeans and like a starter. I mean, for us, I grew up in LA. It's like, the Raiders jacket or like,
yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let me ask you this, because I interviewed a couple weeks ago a dude who wrote a really insightful book on Bruce Lee and the through line from Bruce Lee to hip hop, because there weren't, when we were growing up, I'm a couple years older than you, there weren't a lot of Asian faces being presented as heroes in mainstream culture.
You're right.
But then comes Bruce Lee, right? And then when we were growing up, like I worshiped Ernie Reyes Jr., yes. All these names, and for so many kids, not just Asian kids, but kids who felt overlooked. Yeah. He wasn't just a movie star. Bruce Lee, these kids, there were possibilities. Did you see a through line that runs from like Bruce Lee to hip hop, maybe even to MC Jin?
Oh man. So I will say, I personally have a like when Bruce gets mentioned, it resonates with me in ways that sometimes are hard to express. I think I've wrote like various short pieces about this. I've shared about it, but I will never get tired of sharing it. I didn't realize in real time when it was happening, kind of that through line, the one that you're talking about. It pales in comparison, right? What I accomplished in my rap career to what Bruce did. And I wouldn't even dare say this like out loud unless it was something that people said to me. So this is more me echoing the sentiments of others, which is, man, what you did with the microphone and what you did when you stepped into the rap space is in the same vein of what Bruce did through martial arts and through film. Again, I want to emphasize, obviously, vast gap in terms of scale, but in terms of the spirit of it, I do get it. I get what people are saying. And I think this is the point. I would never say I'm the Bruce Lee of rap. I don't think you'll ever hear me say it. You will hear me pay homage. You will hear me say I am a student, right? And it's fascinating because when Bruce passed away, I wasn't even born yet. So you talk about an impactful legacy and a powerful legacy, right? So although you will never hear Jin say I am the Bruce Lee of rap. However, when someone bestows that upon me, man, it's the greatest feeling, right? And I welcome it with open arms, and I am so humbled and also encouraged and inspired. Because I don't think you would ever hear Bruce Lee say he's the something of something. that's not the spirit of Bruce, right? Like he will say, I am the Bruce Lee of Bruce Lee's, right? Right. So even in that sense, I don't think there's, I don't think the spirit of Bruce lives in anybody that says, hey, I'm the Bruce Lee of whatever. I'm the Bruce Lee of the kitchen. I'm the Bruce Lee of, right? Like, I think Bruce's whole thing was about identity and being the most honest version of yourself. So, man, shout out to Bruce Lee and his and Shannon, his daughter, and the whole legacy that he has left behind. Man, one of the greats.
You're so on. And he's like, I mean, because look, Bruce gave a generation permission to see themselves as like powerful. And then years later, you're standing on Freestyle Fridays doing something nobody had ever really seen before. But let me get it one like generation up. I grew up on movies like The Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy. This is an idea that identity wasn't something you inherited. It's something you discovered. And when you look back now, I mean, was MC Jin something you created, or was it something that you like uncovered?
Yeah, I love this. I love it. I would like to think it was a mixture of both. It was a mixture of both, if I'm being absolutely honest. The reason I say both is because this is so fascinating to me. The reason I say both is because, yes, I discovered him. I uncovered it. You know, he was someone, and here I am talking about he in the third person when it's really me. But what I'm trying to say is, when 15-year-old Jin picked up the mic, started engaging in the rap battling, whether it was initially just at school in a local scale, or if you jump all the way to when I popped up on that BET screen, right, in 2001, I want to say it's not like I ever had to turn on a character when I stepped on stage. So my point is, on stage Jin, off stage Jin, microphone in hand Jin, no microphone in hand Jin is the same Jin. It's one and the same. However, I will say that I think when I did step on stage and when I got into rap mode Jin, and this is something I can only say now as a 40-something-year-old man, I do think there's a certain element of added bravado and cockiness and self-belief that is required. Like, I don't think it's just not realistic to think that you can go into that type of arena and not have some sort of self-centeredness. I'll put it like that. You have to, in order to thrive in it, you almost have to be like, I am the greatest in the universe. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, like, was I really the greatest in the universe? Maybe not, but I damn sure believed I was. You don't step on stage at BET and not feel like you could obliterate any person that they put in front of you. You're wasting your time if you do that, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, I think it was kind of like a blend of the two. Like, so it wasn't like a persona that I had to turn on, but I do think, like, in those particular environments, like, it is a heightened version of that self-belief. Because off stage, I would like to think that I'm approachable. I'm someone that is grounded, and that's not by my own doing. I mean, I credit that to my parents. I mean, I want to think that they raised me to be that, to be respectful, to see everyone as the same. You don't look at the president of the company as someone that has more value than the receptionist, you know? So, and those are things I carry with me now as an adult, and hopefully I instill it in my kids as well. So.
I love the title of your podcast. It's so clever, and it hit me immediately because it feels like, I don't know, I use my sense of humor for the darkest times in my life. I always have, and it's like a life philosophy.
Amen.
Curious though, something in your life, Jin, that maybe feels like it almost broke you, but eventually became one of your favorite stories to tell because of your ability to laugh at aspects around it.
This is probably the most prominent one, because for a long time I didn't really think I'd be able to bounce back from it, because it was just the way it unraveled me. So it really boils down to my rap career. So my rap career is something that I feel like has been bittersweet for a long time, but now I look at the bitter as just as valuable as the sweet. So what do I mean by that? So at the young age of 19, essentially watching my rap dream come true, and probably in the grandest fashion possible, right? I'm on national TV. Not only am I announcing that I have a record deal, but no, I'm a Rough Rider now, and this is coming from the hugest Rough Rider fan, DMX. I'm at the DMX concerts. I'm at the Rough Rider concerts. So watching that come to life, but then also watching it fizzle out, watching kind of like everything that I wanted in the palm of my hands, but then also watching it slip through the cracks, right? And at one point, at its darkest, I kind of didn't think I'd be able to bounce back from that because there was just all this weight on my shoulder. The heaviest thing was that I tried to put on this front like it wasn't bothering me. And that probably did more damage than the actual unraveling itself, right? Because, as the words start getting around, yo, you heard Jin got dropped from Rough Riders, right? Oh, and then it just so happened, it was like a domino effect. I'm parting ways with the label. My album doesn't live up to the hype, and granted, these were expectations that were probably almost unreachable, right? Like, because the idea was he signed with this major label. They have superstars like DMX and Eve already, right? So the track record is there. How many Chinese people are in the world? 1.4 billion? Oh my gosh, this guy is out of here, right? Like, right. So I'm feeding into all of this. And the point is the album doesn't live up to any of that, right? And as it slowly unravels, it's a domino effect. I part ways with the label. The album doesn't do as well. I'm losing rap battles. So that was almost like the last thing that I was clinging on to was the rap battles. Because I'm like, all right, well, yeah, even if my album doesn't do good, that's because the record industry is jacked up. That's not on me. So I'm clinging on to every last bit that I can. But the point is, Adam, now, and this goes full circle back to last but not least, not only can I say, or will I say that I've been able to pick up the pieces, to be able to look back on laugh about it, it's such a beautiful, I've heard this word used before. It's cathartic for sure, but it's also very amusing to me because maybe it's something that no one will ever understand beyond Jin. Because once upon a time, I didn't even want to talk about these topics, let alone be able to laugh about it, right? Like I didn't even want to talk about it. But now it's like, okay, not only do I not mind talk about it, but it's some of the most hilarious topics to me, right? Like for example, people are like, yeah, like, Jin, Rough Riders, that might not have been the label for you. That, maybe that's where things went awry to begin with. So now I'm able to be like, you know what? Maybe Rough Riders they changed my life, but maybe Rough Riders isn't the place. You know why? Because I'm not that rough.
Right.
So even there you go, right? Like I'm not that rough, right? I'm ticklish. I'm ticklish, Adam. You can't be a Rough Rider. You can't be a Rough Rider and be ticklish.
I use CeraVe on my skin after the shower. How rough can I be?
That's phenomenal, Adam. That is phenomenal, by the way. Just a CeraVe reference. That's top tier right there.
I think they're gonna clip me soon. Now, I do want to ask you a question about your faith. I think a lot of people misunderstand faith. They think faith means certainty. But for most people, they seem to spend a lot of time living with uncertainty, and that's okay. When you look back on your life, was there a season, it might have been the season you just told me, where God felt the quietest to you, but later turned out to be doing the most?
Oh, I love this, Adam. We'll have a follow-up call outside of this, even if it's just between me and you, all right?
Okay.
But I do want to answer that question. Absolutely, there was a season. And honestly, I think it was exactly what I just talked about in the last 2-3 minutes. That time when things were all falling apart.
Yeah.
Record label splitting, album sales not doing well, gigs are down, money is down, everything is down. He was sculpting. I felt like abandoned. Forget God for a moment. And I mean, I say that respectfully, but meaning at that time, I felt like I was abandoned across the board. Although I wasn't. I still had my family, my mom, my dad, my sister. And then at the time, she wasn't my wife. She's my wife now. But at the time, it was a girl that I had only just met and started we were dating, but it wasn't, we didn't look at it as anything serious. But credit to her. Her name is Carol, right? Because she showed up in the picture when these things were falling apart. So point is, if you're talking about, in my mind, I felt God was silent. But man, quiet as kept, he was doing so much in me at the time. It was a tough process, but also even the people that he placed around me, be it my family, be it Carol, and these were the kind of the crutches in a way that I was able to kind of walk through those fiery times with. And man, and there's just a lot of grace. And the thing you brought up about the certainty and uncertainty, yeah, I will say, man, I walk every day in uncertainty. And that is exactly why I cling to my faith so much, because that's probably the only thing I can rely on is, man, how gracious God has been with me, how patient he's been, and how much grace he continues to show in my life, and favor. And that favor doesn't necessarily mean like I get every job I want. It doesn't mean like every project, every project takes off. So I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much for the time, Jin.
Thank you, Adam.
Look at this. This was so much fun.
Thanks, Adam. Yo, have a great day, man. Bless you.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
MC Jin, chat, loved it. All the links for him. Insta, the podcast, the Laugh But Not Least, has its own Insta too. All those links are in the show notes. And we are now on the other side of getting ready for the weekend. I don't know, the weekend it's a big holiday weekend. America 250. Fireworks gonna be crazy everywhere. So it's also warming up. I want to thank our friends Moonshiner Collective. Well, let me tell you first about my friends at the Mountain Air. Love these guys. Over 50 years, since 1975, they've been doing it, helping folks get outside at all skill levels. Hiking, camping, climbing, heading to the snow, whatever it is, they are local and they're all about it. And they're all about you. When you walk in, you are seen, you are taken care of. It is not transactional. I love the people, Josh and Lindsay Herring, who own the Mountain Air. Check out their sister shop just down, 2 doors down, called the Switchback, where your used gear can get a second shot. theswitchback.com, also themountainair.com. Check them out. Let them know you heard them on Up and Adam. Follow them on your socials. It's completely free. They're great people. The Mountain Air, San Luis Obispo. Moonshiner Collective, we love you. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam. Original music on the show called Start Again. Stream them where you get your music. Also, get to moonshinercollective.com. This show, baby, recorded at Slow Cal Studios in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California. Slow Cal, where the wine is world-class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. Returns well taken. Visit slowcal.com. That's SLOCAL, slowcal.com. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Adam Montiel. Appreciate you more than you know for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again.